Good morning. This is Kathleen Hebelwaite, and I am interviewing Charles and Leila Kelly. And we are at the Over the Hill Farm in Westminster, Maryland. And we'll start with Charles, and then we'll move to you, Leila. Charles, when and where were you born?
1939, Littlestown, PA.
Littlestown. And when did you move to the Carroll County?
Well, Carroll County was, I'd say I was probably 6 years old at that time.
Mm-hmm. And did your parents farm?
My parents didn't. We was a separated family.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother found a man that took us all, put us all in the same house, and
Mm-hmm.
we worked on his farm.
Oh, and he had a farm.
Yeah.
I see. And so you worked on the farm when you were growing up, right?
Yep, from 6 years old on up.
And are you still working on the farm now, or do you
Right
do you
here
still
on
do?
this.
Yeah, so 6 years old up until today, right? As of now.
Well, for a while he worked out at Public Works.
At
Yeah,
Public Works?
For a while, yeah. But I still farmed in the evenings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
in the afternoons.
On the side.
Well, I worked night work for a while,
Yeah,
and
uh-huh.
that went. I come home, go to sleep, get up, farm,
Yeah. So farming's always been part of your life.
pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. And Layla, you said you lived in Arbutus. Were you born in Arbutus?
My birth certificate says Baltimore,
Oh, okay. And when were you born?
1937,
Okay.
in August.
And what was your childhood like in Arbutus compared to Charles?
Running around in the neighborhood with the neighborhood kids.
More of a city upbringing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little different.
Bunch of us used to get together. We lived on a dead end street,
Mhm.
and bunch of us kids would get together. The one lady had turkeys, I can remember. And we used to go around and collect dandelion greens, get a handful of dandelion greens, and she'd pay us a penny.
Oh, really?
So then we go down the end of the street to the store
Uh-huh.
and get our pennies candies.
Oh, cool. So you're able to
Yeah.
just transfer that into
Yeah.
into some candies.
Yeah. And like at weekends, if we could get money from our parents, we went to the movies,
Mhm.
which only cost 10 cents
Those were the days.
Saturday afternoon.
Oh, cool. Do you remember any of the movies you saw?
Cowboy movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe Superman.
And the Superman movies.
And then
Cool.
they had the serial things that went on from week to week.
Oh, so kind of like a TV show. And Charles, you said you moved from Littlestown to where in Hampstead?
Yeah, Hampstead's where I ended up at in Carroll County. Before
Okay.
that, we moved all over the place.
Oh, okay. So when you were 6, you moved to Hampstead.
Yeah,
So from then on, have you been in Carroll County?
except for, what, about 4 years?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years?
4 or 5 years we lived in PA.
Oh, okay. When was that?
Back in the 60s.
From 64 to 72, we moved back in here.
And what has made you guys? And when did you move to Carroll County? When you married Charles?
My dad was in the service,
Okay.
and when he got out, he said he wasn't living in town anymore. He wanted to farm. That was in 1948.
Oh, okay.
I was
Okay.
11 years old.
And did you work on a farm too, or?
Right here.
Yeah. So, were you expected to work on the farm, or?
Oh yeah, I was the
Yeah.
oldest kid.
Yeah. So you kind of took care of everything.
Helped feed the livestock and stuff.
And did you kind of have the same responsibilities on the farm?
Feed livestock, work horses out in the field.
We didn't have horses. We did have a tractor. But I
Yeah.
couldn't run it. It was a crank. You cranked it. My dad says, no, you'll end up with a broken arm.
Yeah. So you're like, I'll just
So
stick to feeding.
So I would sit on the equipment.
Okay, and just sort of ride
Do
around
the-
with them, yeah.
Well, you had a cultivator. It was an old horse cultivator cut down to work behind the tractor, and you had to sit there and work with your feet to keep it in the.
Oh, okay.
Flocky plow.
So it was very much manpower.
And hey, you had big old dump rake, so I rode the dump rake.
Oh, okay, cool.
Sickle bar mower, I rode the mower.
And what did you farm?
Right here.
Or I mean, like, did you farm like what kind of vegetables and livestock? Was it just a little bit of everything?
We had hogs.
Mhm.
We raised a beef for ourselves to eat.
Oh, okay.
And grain, corn.
Was it? And what did you farm?
Our own vegetables.
A little bit of everything. Once we got started, we had cows, hogs, chickens, and we made all our own hay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it was very much like a self-sustaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We cut our grain with a binder, shocked it out in the field, and loaded it on a wagon, brought it in, put it in the hay mow, and we had a thrash machine come in, and we started out a hay mow into the thrash machine.
Yeah.
Stacked the straw out in the barnyard. I was always the straw stacker.
Oh, you're always the straw stacker. You got stuck with that one. And did you usually work on the farm before you went to school, after you went to school? Like, how did that work when you guys started going to school?
Both ways.
Yeah.
Morning and evening both. You had your morning work to do and your evening work to do.
Mhm.
If they had enough, he missed school.
Yeah.
They kept him home.
Like spring of the year and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Late early in the fall,
Mhm.
I'd be happy to stay home and help pick corn. We picked all our field corn by hand.
Mhm.
And then
You picked all the corn by hand.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I learned to do that.
that's how we did it here.
Yeah, we did it here when we first started.
Yeah, and when you first started at your own farm.
Oh, see, this was my parents' farm.
Oh, this is your parent. Okay. And then you guys.
We moved back down here
Mhm.
when my parents got sick and took it over.
Mhm.
It was, well, we didn't have everything because my dad had stopped farming.
Mhm.
So we did with what we could do, what we had. That was handpicked all your field corn.
Oh, wow. And were both of you working on that?
Yeah, both of us were working that.
I stayed home and took care of the kids and worked around the farm.
Well,
He worked out.
Kids used to help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they have morning tasks that they had to do and evening tasks that they had to do?
Not too much in the morning. They usually did most of their work in the weekends and stuff, help out on the weekends. Till they got bigger, and as they got bigger, they got more work, naturally.
Right, yeah. Was that the same with you? Like,
Yeah.
the bigger you got, the more work
The
you
bigger
had?
the more you did.
Yeah. And what schools did you guys go to when you were in the county?
I went to Hampstead mainly. When we did all the moving around, I was in umpteen school.
Yeah, so you were moving around a lot before then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ended up starting in Hampstead in the first grade, and I ended up back in the first grade in Hampstead. From there on, I went all through school in Hampstead up to ninth grade.
Up through ninth grade? And how long were you in school for?
12th grade.
12th grade.
I went to Westminster.
Oh, you went to Westminster.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so you remember, have you seen the school, like, did your kids go to Westminster High School?
They moved them around. They started out at Winfield Elementary School. And then my daughter went to South Carroll. Well, then they decided to change the boundaries, so my boys went to Westminster.
Mhm. Yeah, they've done a lot of redistricting for that. Yeah.
Well, my youngest son, they moved him when he was in middle school to Westminster, and they took just a few kids from this area, and they put them up at West Middle, and didn't put them all in the same class.
No.
They just split them all up. So he had to go through making all new friends.
Yeah, just for the districting.
So come his senior year of high school, Westminster High, They said, you got to transfer down to Liberty. He said, oh no.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not going to do that again.
Mhm.
He said, I'll quit school first. He said, you let me drive or I'll quit.
Mhm. Yeah.
So they let him drive.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. They've had a lot of shifting. Yeah, I remember that. But so the only high school you went to was Westminster, right?
Yeah.
And do you remember what your high school was? It was up in Hampstead?
It was Hampton High School, elementary and high school, all in one.
Okay. So when you hit ninth grade, did you start farming full time?
I stayed home and I worked public work and helped out on the farm.
Mhm. And public work, what do you mean by that?
I worked in the shoe factory.
Oh,
Westminster
okay.
Shoe Factory.
Westminster Shoe Factory. What'd you do there?
Well, I did what they called heel seat nailing.
Mhm.
You nailed the sole fast to the inner sole and the leather fast to the shoe last there, which had a metal plate in it and punched the nails over.
Oh, okay. So you were part of that.
That was right on here on Green Street.
Oh, wow. So right
Yep.
over there.
Green Street and 32.
Mhm. Okay.
That
Yeah.
used to be the shoe
The gray
factory.
building there, that used to be a big shoe factory.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh,
A
cool.
lot of little businesses that are now gone.
Mhm. Yeah. Have you seen a lot of that happen in your
Oh,
time
yeah.
here? And you said you worked a long time at what company was it? The big farm,
B.F. Shrivers.
B.F. Shrivers, and
They had a cannon factory.
yeah, they had
They
the
were on
canning
Railroad Avenue.
factory. Mhm. And how long did you work there for? Just approximately
Altogether, probably about 6, 7 years.
6, 7 years. And but this whole time you've been farming too, in addition to everything else, right?
Yeah. Then when I went to work for Edmund L. Carr.
Mhm.
He was a county commissioner at the time.
Mhm.
Worked on his farms.
I worked
Okay.
there for, I reckon, 4 years till he passed away.
Oh wow.
I stayed until we had the sale and settled everything up.
Mhm. Yeah. So you've been working on farms for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And
Farm's in my blood and it's probably never get out.
it's stuck there.
Yep, it's stuck there. And we farm with red. We don't do green.
What do you mean by that?
International.
International tractors.
Oh, okay. Okay. International, like, is that a brand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Green's a dirty word around here.
Right.
We don't use
What does
green
green
equip-
mean?
John Deere.
Oh, the one that I know.
I know you know that one.
What's the difference?
Just that's what he started out with.
Oh, so it's just
So it's
you've stuck with it and it's reliable.
Except for one. I got one Russian-made tractor.
Oh, really?
that's Big Daddy. That's what the grandson, when he was little, named that one, Big Daddy.
Big Daddy tractor. Now, are your children still? You said some of them were still in the county, right?
All but one.
And do they still do like farming type work or?
No,
They
not
ha-
too much.
They come here and
They
help.
come and help when I really need help.
Mhm. So they still help you out.
The
Yeah.
grandchildren even help.
Yeah.
In the
Do the
summertime.
grandchildren like it a lot?
One does, one doesn't.
Oh,
The
okay.
grandson, he's fine
Mhm.
with the equipment.
Mhm.
Put him out in the field.
Not happening.
They don't like the hoe.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Hoe and
I guess
pull
you
weed.
won't find many people who have a natural affinity for that. But so when did you two meet and get married?
Well, I joined the service.
Mhm.
And I was going to make a career of that. But I came home and went on a blind date.
Mhm.
Then we got married in 1959. No, 1959.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, back then, if you got pregnant, you were automatically out.
Uh-huh.
They didn't keep you then.
Mhm.
So that ended that career.
Oh, I see. Now, you said you were in the service. What were you doing in the service?
I was an airman apprentice in the United States Navy.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Photographer.
Photographer for the Navy.
Hmm?
And did you get to go abroad?
No.
Yeah.
Back then, women weren't allowed aboard ship, and you
Oh.
very seldom went overseas.
Oh, okay. So you mostly stayed stateside working. Okay, cool.
We trained up here at Bainbridge in Maryland, which is no longer
Mhm.
a naval base.
So
Then I went from Bainbridge
mhm.
to Jacksonville to Pensacola, then back to D.C.
And then so you were home on break when you went on a blind date.
I came home on leave from Florida.
On leave, okay.
My girlfriend said, "Come on, go out with me." And I already had a boyfriend,
Oh, really?
but that changed. I took this one.
I'm sorry of it, ain't you?
So, after your first, so when you had your first child, did you two start farming together? Or you said you stayed home and watched the children, right? And you did most
Yeah.
of the farming and
Yeah, I was on farm.
working at the
He
canning
worked for
factory.
Shriver's at that time.
Mhm. And after Shriver's, where did you work?
Ed Manel Carr farms over back in Manchester.
Okay, okay. So
It's
that
at
was
Manchester,
labor
Lineburg
work.
Road. You own 1, 2, 3. You own 4 farms.
Oh, wow. So you worked there, and then after that, where did you work?
Went to a dairy farm, which I won't even mention at any time on
In
that.
Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. Is that when you two moved to Pennsylvania?
Mm-hmm.
That's when we went from PA.
Mhm.
Went from there over to the poultry farm. I stayed there. What,
It was 3 or 4 years.
about 40 years, I reckon, there.
Yeah. And then you came back. What brought you back to Carroll County after being in Pennsylvania?
Well, her parents got sick. They said, "We'll give you a lot if you can build a house on it." So
Mhm.
we already had a mobile home up in PA.
Mhm.
Sold that and built this house.
Okay, so you built this house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had a shell erected. I put everything inside. You see, that was all
Wow.
our doing, so we put it in.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Installation of drywall, hardwood floors.
Oh, wow. How long did that take you to do?
Well, we
That
only
was-
worked on
That was
weekends.
coming down here and working on Sundays,
Mhm.
Saturdays and Sundays and stuff.
So after
'Cause he
all
still
of your
lived in
work,
Pennsylvania. He still
after
lived
yeah.
up there and worked for All Wine Brick Company at that time.
Mhm. So after all that work, you would come on the weekends and build your house.
Yep.
Wow, that's really impressed. people have like weekends off and they're still complaining. You know, do you think the definition of hard work and that kind of work ethic has changed at all? Like with the new generations of.
Yeah, new generation is not like the older generation for working.
Mhm.
They want the weekends off. They don't care whether they work or they don't do anything on the weekend.
Uh-huh.
They expect a lot of things given to them instead of having to work for it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Now, we didn't raise our kids that way. My grandchildren happen to be raised that way.
Right. So you've passed that
They're
down.
on the
You've
work-
passed that work ethic down.
We have 2 girls in college, and they're doing it all on scholarships and loans.
Oh, wow. And they're in college now?
Mm-hmm.
And what are they in college for?
One's going to be a nurse,
Mhm.
and the other one's going to be into psychology.
Oh, wow. That's cool. And do they go to school nearby?
Hmm?
Do they go to school nearby?
One goes to Stevenson, and one goes to Dell State.
Okay, so they're pretty close. They're pretty close.
Yeah, the one from Dell we see a lot of, well, not all weekends, but every so often
Mhm.
she's home for a weekend because she works here.
Mhm.
She's the nurse. She has a job at Carroll County Hospital.
Oh, okay. So she's working already.
Well, the other one has a job, but it doesn't relate to her studies.
Mhm.
She works for Royal Farms.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Interesting.
But they work, they have to work to be able to
Yeah, to go to school.
That's what the second one's just, finally, I've got my car paid for.
Yeah, that
You know?
takes a while.
Parents didn't buy the car.
Right, they had to work for their car.
They all three of them have cell phones,
Mhm.
but the agreement was they all go on mother's plan, but they have to have the money to pay their part of the bill every month.
Mhm. Yeah, and do it that way.
You know, because mother and daddy can't do it.
Right, right. So, now we talked about your childhood and a little bit about your adult lives. Are there any major changes that the two of you have seen in Carroll County in the years that you've been here? Like any major changes that come to mind right away when you reflect on the county?
Well, there's been an awful lot of development
Mhm.
since we was younger.
Mhm.
Like the Shriver Farm that went into the shopping center. Other farms that used to be Shriver Farms, now a lot of them built up with houses.
Mhm.
So
A lot of housing developments.
a lot of small businesses have moved or went completely out of business.
Yeah, it's no longer a farming county. It's a bedroom community.
Mhm. And how does that make you two feel? Like, what are your feelings on that?
Don't like it.
Mhm.
I'd rather stay farming.
Mhm.
There's too many of these younger people that can't be self-sufficient.
Mhm.
We get along. I still can.
Yeah.
Very little stuff. We butcher.
Mhm.
People don't. They say, "What do you do that for?" I said, "Do you know what you're eating when you open that can? Do you know what you're eating when you cut that steak up?
Yeah, that's true.
We
That's
know
true.
what we're eating."
So you still provide for yourselves
Oh yeah.
Oh,
with
yeah.
the farm.
I got chickens, we have our own eggs, sell a lot of eggs,
Mhm.
raise my own beef.
I won't eat a store-bought egg.
Oh yeah.
Mm-mm. Not after living on a poultry farm.
Yeah.
Way
When
back.
did you live in a poultry farm?
When we
With
were
the dairy?
first married there when we were
Oh,
up in
okay.
Pennsylvania.
Mhm. Pennsylvania.
Back then they didn't have the laws that stuff had to be refrigerated.
Ooh.
The eggs went from Artsville to Hanover and stored
Without
in
refrigeration.
no refrigeration on that truck, and they were stored in a building with no refrigeration.
I'm rethinking my egg situation right now.
I asked the driver one time, I said, "Well, how do you keep it straight?" He said, "Oh, well, once in a while we get up in the top of the shed and bring a crate of eggs down that's got peepees in it." I said, "That's it. That's it. I won't eat the store."
Now, where do you two usually sell your produce?
Right here.
Right out of the farm
Mhm.
here? And people come over, and is it like a farm stand or?
We
We
put a,
set up tables out here.
Mhm.
It's not. See, that's the thing. The county's changed that much. When we first moved down here, and we started selling sweet corn stuff. I mean, I was home, the kids were home, and they kept us busy all day. People in and out
Mhm.
because they can. Now they don't do it.
Yeah.
Now it's harder to sell the stuff.
sweet
Right.
corn's in, I set up 32 and 97 in the truck with sweet corn.
Mhm.
And up until last year, I could take 20 dozen up and be back home in an hour and a half.
Wow.
Last
now-
year I set up every 4
yeah.
or 5 hours to sell
Last,
20
you know,
dozen.
with
I
the
quit.
economy the way things are,
Right.
people don't have the money. You
Mhm.
can't. It's harder.
Yeah, it's hard to market it and get people out, right?
Well, 2 years ago, I'd take 75 to 100 dozen up on Saturday and Sunday. In
Mhm.
3 hours I'd be back home.
And now it's cut in
This
half.
summer we didn't do that.
Mhm. And when you say take it up, where do you
Up
take it up?
32 and 97, sit there and sell it out of the truck.
Oh, okay. So you set up your own stand there.
I just set it on
Just
my
set the
own,
truck.
except right in the truck there.
Mhm.
Put me in a beach umbrella up and towards for shade.
Yeah.
Sat under that with a jug of cold water.
And that's all you need, right?
Yep.
people won't stop unless his red truck is there.
Mhm.
They said, it's other ones sometimes they're trying, when you're not there, but we won't stop for theirs. We know your corn is fresh.
Right.
I
So you
done
guys
really
have really good quality.
got my
It's-
corn up there, we'd come back, I wouldn't be up there, they'd come in here for
Mhm.
corn.
Mhm.
And we tell them, where we live, come down there if we're not up there. Because we pick it, of course, sweet corn is picked the same day it goes up the road.
Mhm. Yeah. So you take it out as soon as you get
Yeah.
it. Okay. Cool. And
But it's just getting harder and harder to sell stuff. These people just don't want to go around there and come around and come in. They
Mhm.
say, well, have a stand down there. I said, we can't do it.
Mhm. Yeah. Do you put signs out or try to direct people?
We got the Over Hill Farm signs out.
Yeah.
Didn't you see them when you came in?
I saw the sign when I came in. Yeah.
We got 2 signs over there too, little signs on the road bank.
Oh, okay. I was listening to my directions, so I probably didn't see it.
Yeah, I got one on each side of Bartholow Road,
Uh-huh.
one down here on the bank. And I got one at the end of Old Washington Road, and one on the raft at the end of the lane.
Okay, so yeah.
The county is sort of restrictive in what signs you can put up.
Uh-huh. Has that changed over time too?
Oh yeah. Now they're telling you we might have to take our signs down.
And why is that?
They don't just, well, you see all these people put these real estate signs out and all, stick them up all over on the weekends and stuff. Now they sent us a letter, and what is it, they're gonna charge $25 if they take the
$25
sign
to take
down.
the sign down.
They don't
Oh.
want them along the road, but
And is that a letter from the county or from the real estate people?
the county,
County.
The county.
it's gonna be a fine. So we don't know if we're gonna get stuck with that or not.
Uh-huh. Did they explain why they're putting fines on the signs?
Because the county goes out and takes the signs down.
Why?
They don't want them out along the road. Too many people complain.
Oh, people were complaining?
City
Yeah.
people.
Some
Oh,
people
okay.
complain about my
See?
big sign down here sometimes, and I gotta stop and take it down.
What
bring
were
it
they
in.
complaining that it was just?
It's advertisement, there's no advertisement below 32.
Oh, okay.
I told him, since we got this latest thing with the signs, I said, well, they come and take that sign, I'm gonna go and say, well, that has to do with our right to farm.
Mm.
We farmed here for years. That's the only way we can tell people we're here.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's how you market yourself with those
See,
signs.
they do have right to farm laws.
Mhm. Yeah.
The county went through that a few years ago
Mhm.
with trying to restrict what farmers can do.
In what way? In how they farm or
Yeah, really.
procedures like that kind of thing?
In fact, they could be, say you had a big 50-acre farm and somebody built a development next to you. Well, these city people come in and say, ew, it's steer manure, ew, it's chicken manure.
Mhm.
We don't want that smell.
Mhm.
Well, then why did you move next to a farm?
Mhm. Yeah. Kind of goes with the territory.
That's my livelihood.
Right. Right.
Well, before we got married, 97
Mhm.
went in down here, I come in
Yeah.
after we got married.
Mhm.
They took a lot of the ground away from this farm.
What? Who did?
97,
Oh, 97
Mhm.
took.
Cut
Did
this farm in
forcibly
half.
took the land?
yeah.
They cut this farm in half.
Oh wow. Did they at least pay you for a decent amount of the
Well,
land?
we wasn't
A little
involved
bit.
in it.
Yeah, that
Or
was
that.
years ago.
Uh-huh.
That was back in
Back in
early
the
60s.
60s.
But you had no choice but to
No, we didn't
to
have
give the
that.
Well,
land
the county
over.
told my dad, you either take what we offer you or we condemn it.
Wow.
Back then, they could get
And when
away
was
with it.
that? In the 60s?
Early
Mhm.
60s.
Early 60s. Before you moved to Pennsylvania?
I'd say it probably was, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't move to PA till
Like 60,
latter part of 64.
Yeah.
64, right?
But we weren't here, living here at the time.
Mhm. That must have been pretty devastating for your father to have to do that?
Well, then they said, well, we built 97. You can't take your equipment from this side to that side.
I do.
We do.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a hassle to get across the road.
Yeah. So there's definitely been a lot of changes.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like in almost in response to all the development that's been going on. Now, are there some things about the county that you've seen remain the same, or you still find endearing about living in Carroll County since you've been here for so long? Like if you were to tell someone about the county, like and encourage them to come here, what would you say?
I wouldn't encourage them to come here unless they were going to be farmers.
Okay. Well, if they were interested in like agriculture and open land and that kind of thing, like that aspect of the county you guys like, right?
Yeah, but then you gotta watch them. They're interested in open ground and farms. But then deep down in the background, they're gonna develop it.
Yeah.
We had a guy offer us a fairly decent price for this place years ago. Kept checking him out. He was in a big development outfit.
I see. And he wasn't forthcoming with that?
Nope.
He said he wanted it.
We just sold it to him, it's been all houses.
Oh, wow. Now, what has led you to stay in Carroll County for as long as you have? Do you think you will stay here, like in the foreseeable future, and continue living here?
I'll die here.
Well, I figure I'll pass away here. I had it on up for sale one time, we gotta sell it. Took it off the market.
Yeah.
Never thought about it since.
And
Well,
what do you?
while we're gone, my daughter gets it.
Then
what they do with it,
That's up to them.
right. Yeah. So it'll continue on basically, and your children know how to work the farm, and your grandchildren are learning. And
well, they can't sell it for development.
right. And so, what do you like about Carroll County in the time that you've been here? What have you enjoyed about the county?
I've enjoyed my life. I mean, we didn't always have a lot, but we got along.
What about you, Charles?
About the same situation. That you enjoyed your life here. Didn't have much, but we made it.
Yeah. And you built this house, which is
It always worked out that things came along that you needed, but you had to work for it.
right.
Not like some of these young ones these days. And
Well,
give it to me.
In 72, when we started building this house, was that 72? Yeah.
We moved in 73.
Why? Moved in here in 73, went for our mortgage on it because we had a construction loan. Our mortgage was 18.5. Because we did a lot of work ourselves.
Yeah. So you're able to own the house, and it's your house.
Yep.
You're not stuck paying the mortgage on it.
Well, at that time, we lived in Pennsylvania. We were paying a mortgage on the mobile home. So we went for a loan for this house, and most of the banks here said, you don't make enough money to afford 2 payments.
Right.
We said, well, we're already making a payment on a mobile home and making a construction loan payment. That's 2 payments.
Yeah.
We're making it.
We're doing it.
So he says, well, we would come down during the week, different banks. He said, well, this time we're going down Eldersburg. He said, it's going to be a lady in the bank, and we're going to get our loan. Went in the bank, there was a lady in there, and we got the loan.
Okay, cool. Diligence, very diligent. Hard work, like you were saying.
Just didn't give up.
And do you think that work ethic kind of came up from, having been like from farming when you were growing up and working since you were so young to get what you needed?
Yeah, because
Mhm.
farm work made you
Yeah.
persistent.
Mhm.
So you was persistent, you was gonna do this, you was gonna do that, and you get it.
And is that one of the things you like about farm work? Because you've been doing it for so long, even if you have other jobs. So.
Well, people might think I'm crazy. I say it's relaxing.
Yeah.
I come home from my other jobs, get on the tractor and go out there and work the fields. I was relaxed.
Yeah. And do what you're used to doing, and
Mhm.
Yep.
yeah.
It's a stressful job, but if you like what you're doing, it's not as stressful
Right.
as
And that's the
working
important thing.
working at public work.
Mhm.
At
Right.
public work, you got some boss telling you what to do all the time.
So when you say public work, you mean just non-farming?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So and right now, as of now, you guys are still farming
Hmm.
and still selling your produce. Um, and let's see, are there any final thoughts that you want to talk about, like your childhood growing up, or how it was in the county before the development started really getting ingrained in the county? Is there anything else you guys want to touch on?
Well, the only thing is, in Carroll County, when we first moved back down here and stuff, we had farms everywhere.
Mhm.
And now, everywhere that was farms, in most cases, is now houses.
Right.
Private farms over on Uniontown Road,
Mhm.
they're all in houses.
Right. So a lot of it is.
Where
moved
the
into-
greens are at now, that used to all be Shriver Farms.
Mhm.
Where the mall's at now, that used to be a Shriver Farm.
Oh, where Town Mall.
Hmm.
Mm.
I can remember dirt roads.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was dating her,
There was dirt roads
this my
here.
road up here
Oh yeah.
was the main highway.
Oh
See,
okay.
That was dirt.
97 wasn't here.
Right. Yeah. See, that's hard for me to picture because I've always known '97. You know.
When I went to school from here,
Mhm.
I walked all the way down to Clemo Road to catch the school bus.
Oh wow. Wow.
School bus didn't come up
Right.
the dirt road.
Mhm.
So I went on the paved roads.
And when you guys were younger, like when you were on the farm, and you were already on the farm, did you usually play on the farm or play in the country? Like, what did you do for fun when you were younger? When you had the time, I guess.
Well, if a couple of you got together, you played catcher, softball,
Yeah.
dodgeball,
So you're always physically active.
Mhm.
ride bicycles.
Mhm.
You didn't have TV.
Right. Yeah. You had to create it yourself.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I run around playing the cornfields.
Mhm.
One year I got in trouble. My dad had rye planted. That stuff grows this high.
Mhm.
Well, I made pathways all through it till he found out.
He probably wasn't too happy about that.
Now the deer makes pathways everywhere.
You went out and did all kinds. Yeah.
Mhm.
He had a barn. I used to climb all over the barn.
Right, yeah.
Get way up, walk across the beams like this. People say, "You did what?" I said, "Yeah."
And that was here?
Mhm.
Right, because when your dad moved, it was to here, right?
Mhm.
And you were up in Hampstead.
Yeah.
And, let's see,
Oh, we used sometimes my cousins would come up
uh-huh.
to spend the week on farm.
Mhm.
We'd go out at night, pitch dark, and play Frankenstein in the barn and around the barn.
Yeah,
Somebody was Frankenstein, you see who you could catch.
yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, just making it up as you go.
Yeah.
Now, you said you stopped going to school in 9th grade.
Yeah.
Was that sort of your decision and your parents' decision, or how did that work out?
Well, I couldn't keep up in class because it was kept out of school so much
Yeah.
for doing farm work.
Mhm.
So I just said I might as well drop out.
Yeah, I couldn't keep up with the work.
Yeah, because they had you out working, right?
Mhm.
About the time you started catching up, and the old man would be the time in the winter school year, Well, you gotta work this, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, cause I was getting bigger.
Yeah, you had more responsibilities.
Yep. I used
And-
to plow ground with old riding fur plow,
Oh, really?
3 horses.
Oh, wow. How old were you when you were doing that?
I started that at about 9 years old.
Wow. So you were working 3 horses when you were 9.
Yeah.
So you were doing a lot of work. A lot of work.
Well, not until it really.
Yeah. Well,
At least
you,
for
you
me.
said it's relaxing to you. It's your vacation. But
I tell her, I says, I come home and go to work on the farm. I says, say we take a vacation.
yeah, yeah.
You lose all the stresses you had during the day work.
Just doing those routine.
Yep.
And
I-
yeah.
I still go down here and I feed my steers in the evening. I'll stand there and watch them eat chopper. When I
Yeah.
put hay in, I'll stand there and watch them eat hay.
Yeah. Kind of soak it in and
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Well, crap, even as a kid, I used to go sleigh riding with the neighbor kids.
Yeah.
And we'd go out, we might spend all day. If we didn't have off from school, you didn't have snow on the ground and stuff, you didn't have farm work to do. Go over here. Mom would say, where were you at? Oh, we were over here sleigh riding all day. Did you get called? Well, we'd go in the neighbor's house, girl's house over there, instead of walking all the way here. Well, even after we moved back down here, I'd go sleigh riding with the grandkids.
Yeah. So you still carry on that.
I can't do it anymore. I can't.
Mhm.
Going down's fun, but the walking back up.
Right. Once you're down there, you're down there. You're stuck.
I gotta put a winch
Yeah, the legs and
up
that just
down
won't
there
do
so
it
you can drag
anymore.
her back up.
Yeah, just crank it up.
And people used to say,
Yeah.
"You go sleigh riding?" I said, "Yeah."
Yeah, that's
But
cool.
now just these past few years, I just can't. Getting health problems. 74 years old, so
Yeah. But is
it
there?
slows you down.
Yeah, inevitably, I guess. Inevitably. Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to conclude with? Any advice that you would give to people growing up in the county who maybe aren't familiar with the farming background that the county has?
Not I can think of.
Do you think it's important for people to know the roots of the county?
Oh yes, know where you came from.
Even if they've moved into the county, do you think it's important that they recognize the agriculture
Yes,
culture that created the county, basically?
yes, that's what's made Carroll County. Is the agriculture
Yeah. What do you think, Charles?
and your work ethic.
I think the same
Yeah.
way.
Just carrying on the work ethic and.
Mhm.
Yeah. And one other thing that's changed is on the same street that B.F. Shriver's located on, it used to be a big distillery down there. Still got the whiskey sign on the building if you see it. It's getting pretty much faded out.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
That used to be a big distillery.
Yeah.
Oh
Big
wow.
whiskey.
Rye whiskey.
Are there other places that you remember having that aren't here anymore, or
It
have
used to
been
be a distillery down at off of 91
Yeah.
back in there.
That's called, I think that was called Cedarhurst.
Yeah. A lot of Liberty Reservoir was in here.
Right, right.
I
The
can
water
re-
tower and.
I can remember that being built. The airport wasn't as big as what it is.
No, the airport was only a little dinky thing.
Now, you guys. Now, how long have the two of you lived in the county? Since you were 11,
Since I was 11.
and since you were 6. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Okay. And do you foresee your children and your grandchildren sort of continuing on the traditions that you have in the county?
Yeah.
As far as we know.
Yeah, like the
Well,
work ethic and what you were saying, you know, that goes along with farming and the attitude that you have to have almost to continue farming.
Yeah, it takes a special attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we plan things right now, getting ready for the holiday,
Mhm.
because the granddaughter's in Delaware.
Mhm.
We plan things. Well, when are you gonna go get the tree? Well, that was the other weekend. We all went up.
Mhm.
Her parents and all, we all went and got our trees.
Mhm.
Come back here, had this table all cleared. We're making grandma's Christmas cookies, the cut out Christmas cookies.
Mhm.
We had, what did we have? 15 people here?
Close to it, right?
Because the one fiance wasn't here. But the other one's fiance was here, the grandson's girlfriend was here.
Mhm.
So we had,
You had everybody
as the
coming
family
in,
grows, they're all
Right.
in the,
so you include them in and continue.
their families
that.
don't do that kind of stuff.
Right. So you continue that, and I think
They
that's
said,
a really
"You make
great
Christmas
tradition.
cookies, everybody?" Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, any other final thoughts that you guys have that you want to have on the video so other people can see or learn about?
Can't think of anything.
Or did we touch on everything?
I did pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, I like hot air balloons.
Oh,
Yeah, last summer, there's a guy in the county that gives hot air balloon rides,
Uh-huh.
and they go over here quite often.
Yeah.
Well, he's coming over and he's getting lower and lower and lower, and I'm out there on the back porch there. I'm waiting. Hi, how are you doing down there? I'm fine. He says, "Can I land in your hayfield?" Oh, come on down.
Yeah.
So he landed up here in the hayfield.
Oh,
He
cool.
said, "Would you like hot air balloon ride?" Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on my bucket list. People said, "You got in a hot air?" I said, "Yeah." He took me about 10 feet off the ground.
Oh, cool.
You was up a little higher than that. You're probably 20 feet
Yeah.
off the ground.
They
Did
said,
you go on the balloon too, or?
Well, I was busy.
"You ain't
I was
kidding."
busy cutting up deer.
Few years ago, the guy used to come back here at the airport, little airport back here,
Oh.
and do helicopter rides.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Bucket list, helicopter ride. They said, "You do that?" "Yeah." "Aren't you?" I said, "I'm afraid of heights now. I didn't used to be."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hold on for dear life. I'll go."
That's great. That's great.
That's the grandkids laugh. Get me on a Ferris wheel.
Mhm.
"Okay, I'll go, but don't you rock the boat." "Hold on for dear life. Don't you move them hands off what they're holding on to." I'll go.
Oh man.
Yeah, why was that?
All right. Well, if you guys can't think of anything else to say, then I'll turn it off here. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing your memories and your stories with us.
Oh, one time they told me about this bucket list. I said, "Okay, one time I want to go on one of these race cars. I want them to take me around the track at 200 miles an hour
Did you do it?
to see what it's like." "Not yet." They said, "Well, where do you want to go next?" I said, "I want to see what it's like." I said, "I've been in a vehicle at over 120 miles an hour.
Mhm.
I want to see what." They said, "When did you do that?" I said, "One time when we were traveling up to Cumberland on the highway."
I tried it with the new one I got out here, but it won't do it.
Yeah.
It's too squirrely on the road.
Yeah.
You're going wrong with the other traffic. We were in a pickup truck
Like a tar track and trailers passing
Yeah.
me, like I was going backwards.
till you looked down at the speedometer.
And then you realized it, right?
Yeah, so the track and trailers hadn't
I said,
passed me for a
"Wow."
while.
I said, "It didn't feel too bad." So I said, "I want these race cars. One of these race cars. You want to drive it?" "No, I don't want to drive it. I want them to take me around at 200 miles an hour."
Mhm. Well, I'm sure you'll get it to happen soon.
Now I just heard the other day they're having a thing in Baltimore for down at Fort McHenry for the Star Spangled Banner thing.
Mhm.
They're going to have the Blue Angels down there.
You gonna watch that? Yeah.
I said, I'm going to try to finagle and see if I can get tickets down to the Blue Angels. See, I like the Blue Angels because they're Navy
Yeah.
and stuff, but I used to see them when I was stationed in Pensacola.
Oh wow.
See them train.
Oh wow. Cool.
And I said, I think I'd even get in one of them if they invited me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
I said, I might be scared to death, but
Still do it though.
I'll do it.
Yep. That's sort of that work ethic working in again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just be persistent. Do it anyway. Well, okay. I'm gonna turn this off now. Thank you so much for your time, guys.